What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash. Welcome back to the channel, and today I am going to be doing something that I've never done before on the channel, and that is give a prediction for an NXT TakeOver. Yes, I don't think I've ever done this before. This is a first time for me, for the channel. This one will be for NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool 2 that will air this Sunday on the WWE Network. So we kick things off with two matches that feature both members of Mustache Mountain. The first one will be Tyler Bate versus Jordan Devlin. Now this rivalry started all the way back in August, like right around August, September, somewhere in there, when Jordan Devlin called Tyler Bate a failure after Tyler Bate had failed to recapture the WWE United Kingdom title from Walter back in Cardiff. Sorry guys, let me move my camera. There we go. Anyway, and this rivalry has been going on for months, and I think this Sunday it will end. I think this rivalry is going to end this Sunday. No doubt, these two are hungry for wanting to be the best that they can be. Honestly, I think after what happened in Cardiff, I'm gonna have to go. I would say Jordan Devlin, but last year's TakeOver Blackpool, Jordan Devlin was supposed to have faced Travis Banks, but sadly, being the typical heel, Jordan Devlin decided to target Travis Banks' knee, and instead, who shows up? None other than Finn Balor. Finn Balor ends up defeating Jordan Devlin at that time. This year is going to be different. I think honestly, in my opinion, I am a huge Tyler Bate fan. I always have, I always will, but I'm gonna have to go with Jordan Devlin on this one, because I think he's more hungry to be the best than Tyler Bate, and Tyler Bate has already done what he wanted to do in WWE, and that was become the first ever UK champion. Now at this point, I think his time has come. I think it's time for Tyler Bate to go to NXT, to get called up to NXT just before Worlds collide. And speaking of Tyler Bate, we have Trent Seven versus Eddie Dennis. Now I believe Eddie Dennis. Now let's see, if I remember correctly, it's been since May. I believe it's been since May since we last saw Eddie Dennis in action. So about 8 months, about 8 months. Out with a shoulder injury, if I remember correctly, during his rivalry with the Bomber Dave Mastiff, and it was a tough battle at last year's Blackpool. But Trent Seven, just like Tyler Bate, I think his days come. I think his days come. I think it's time for British Strong Style to return to be reunited, but in NXT in Orlando. So I'm gonna go with Eddie Dennis on this one. Next up, we have a fatal 4-way match for the NXT UK Tag Team titles in a ladder match. It will be Gallus members Mark Coffey and Wolfgang versus Imperium's Fabian Eichner and Marcel Barthel versus the Grizzled Young Veterans Zach Gibson and James Drake, and of course the only Welsh superstars to win titles in WWE, Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. Now, if you guys do not know what Imperium means, I believe it is German. If I remember correctly, I believe it is a German term. I'm not entirely sure. Comment below if you guys know. But I believe it is a German term for absolute power. So Imperium consists of Walter, who is the current WWE United Kingdom champion, which I will talk about that in just a moment. Fabian Aichner, Marcel Barthel, and none other than former Sanity member Alexander Wolf. Honestly, I think seeing Alexander Wolf in NXT UK was a bit of a stretch, because do not get me wrong, when it came to being a part of factions or a tag team, Alexander Wolf knocks it out of the park. Always. Even during his days with Sanity, he along with Killian Dane, Eric Young, and Nikki Cross at that time, they completely dominated NXT and just completely just went off the grid when Dane, Young, and Wolf got called up to the main roster. At that time, Nikki Cross stayed in NXT because they needed a NXT veteran, if you will, to stay in NXT for a little bit longer. I think that was for until until Kairi Sane would become NXT Women's Champion, if I remember correctly. I don't remember exactly, but this rivalry between all four these teams has been running roughshod over the last year. You know, obviously with the formation of Gallus, you know, around the first several episodes of NXT UK, with Imperium coming in, with Gibson and Drake, last year's TAKEOVER Blackpool defeating Mustache Mountain to win the titles, losing them to Webster and Andrews, and now just losing them to Gallus. It's crazy. And then of course too, just a couple of weeks ago on NXT UK, Gibson and Drake, during a tag team title match between Imperium and Gallus, decided to take the titles and run away. But who shows up? Webster and Andrews. All hell breaks loose. And Sid Scala, the assistant to the general manager of NXT UK, decides to take the titles and decides, we're gonna put them high above the ring, 15 feet high. Let's add some ladders in there, Let's add some ladders and just make it a ladder match. That's what they were like. That's what they said. So basically, we have four of NXT UK's top tag teams who are going to beat the holy hell out of each other in a ladder match. And of course, too, Imperium, to them, in their motto is, the mat is sacred. Because they want to bring back the mat-based style of professional wrestling in their eyes. The way I see it, sometimes you have to go outside of your element in order to remain in your element. So if I were to pick who would be the odds-on favorites to win this, hands down, I would say Gallus, because all three members of Gallus, have been starting to get by with the fans. Been starting to get over with the fans, if you will. I love it. I think I made a prediction when I think it was back in Cardiff when I did my review video for that event. I think I predicted that Gallus would become the next British Strong Style, if you will. The top baby faces of NXT UK, and I believe my prediction was correct. So this ought to be interesting. The dark horses of the match, hands down, has to be Webster and Andrews. The dark horses have to be them, because None of these guys know anything about ladders. And actually, I think the only person who knows a little bit about ladders is Mark Andrews. Because if you guys remember, if you guys do not remember Andrews, he was a part of TNA Impact Wrestling a number of years. I think like 7, 8. I want to say about 8 years ago, I believe, if I remember correctly. He took his full last name, Andrews, took the first letter of his first name, which is Mark, mashed them together, and his character name was Mandrews. Which honestly was pretty cool. Which honestly was a really cool name. He was only on TNA for a few years, and then just kind of just went and did things on his own. So hands down, So of course Andrews does know a little bit about ladders. I've seen him compete on TNA a few times. I think he's been in a couple ladder matches, so he knows a little bit. But of course I'm gonna be sticking with Gallus. Next up, we have a triple threat match for the NXT UK Women's Championship between the champion Kaylee Ray, former champion Toni Storm, and probably the dark horse in this match, Piper Niven. Now, Piper Niven made her debut right around the time when Rhea Ripley was the NXT was like right around the time right around this time last year when Ripley had lost the NXT UK Women's title to Storm, and she was starting to get called up into NXT over in Orlando. She was dominant. She was a very dominant woman until she had her first couple of losses, and then her streak just kind of went down a bit. Now it's like mid. It's like mid, like right somewhere in the middle. So obviously we all know Storm had lost the title to Kaylee Ray back in Cardiff in August, and that whole thing started when Kaylee Ray got into the mind of Toni Storm, mentioning her family, her father, and a whole bunch of other bullshit, and Storm went to a dark place I never thought she would ever go to, but I don't know. I don't know. It was kind of weird seeing Toni Storm go into that dark place, but she went there, and then of course she had to leave NXT UK for a few months just to wind down and just reflect on what's happened and what she wants to do next. Now we know she wants the title back. This is going to be a very intriguing matchup for Kaylee Ray, because she knows both these women oh so well. From their days from their days on the independent circuit in countries like Scotland and Australia and Japan, which I do want to point out as well. If you guys haven't heard or knew about, Australia is in a major crisis right now, as we speak. At the time of this being recorded and posted, which is actually Thursday, January 9th. And by the time this video gets up, it'll be about 1:30, I would say. So you guys can, if you guys want to donate, I don't remember the website, but if you go to WWE.com, I believe there will be more info on that. I am not entirely sure, but my thoughts and prayers go out to everybody who has been impacted by the intense wildfires in Australia. We love you, and we hope you are safe. With that, so with that being said, as again, these women know each other so well. This is going to be a very interesting matchup, but I'm going to go with Piper Niven on this one, because I think her time's come. I think her time has come to become NXT UK Women's Champion. And with that being said, we now move on to the main event. It is it's a match to determine who owns NXT UK. Now at last year's TAKEOVER Blackpool, Joe Coffey challenged then WWE United Kingdom Champion Pete Dunne for the title, and Joe Coffey was forced to tap out. After the match, Walter comes in and gives Joe Coffey the boot. A boot to the face. Fast forward to NXT TakeOver New York. I did do a review video on that, which I saw that match. Ooh, that was an intense match. I can tell you that. That was an intense matchup. And of course, to Walter ended up winning the title. Pete Dunne did invoke his rematch clause, but that went sideways real fast because Fabian Eichner and Marcel Barthel came in, helped Walter retain, and then that started the war, the fight between British Strong Style and Imperium, and thus Alexander Wolf shows up. Fast forward to now, and Joe Coffey wants to right the wrongs of the past by writing the rights of the future, and his future is leaving his mark, as he does, on Walter and claim NXT UK as his kingdom. Literally, this match has come full circle. It's a match to determine who really owns NXT UK. Is it Imperium or is it Gallus? This is going to be a very, very hard-hitting matchup because Joe Coffey is more of a power game, like aerial lifestyle. I would say that. I would say like not high flying, but more of a risk taker, if you will. Walter is more map based, more. He's more map based, with a little bit of a submission in his arsenal. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. But of course, too, the biggest downfall that Walter has to watch out for is his own endurance and his stamina. Because if his stamina goes down, Joe Coffey could win it. So, but this match can go either way. But if I had to pick, Joe Coffey, in my honest opinion. And with that being said, that is going to do it for this video. Let me know in the comments below, using the hashtag NXTUK, who you think is going to win these matches. More specifically, the match between Walter and Joe Coffey. Let me know in the comments below who you guys think is going to win. And if you guys enjoyed this video, smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links will be down in the description below. And if you guys want to send fan mail, yes, I said it before, I will say it again. I am going to be doing fan mail. So if you guys have any fan mail that you want to send me, letters, cards that you want me to sign and send back to you, whatever, my address will be in the description below. But of course too, if you guys want me to sign cards and send back to you, you have to be sure to add a return envelope with postage and of course a return address, which will make things easier for me, obviously. But again, address will be down below because I want to hear from you guys. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.